Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to this informational session about the PITT OHIO Driver Apprentice Program. My name is Jake Ramsey. I'm one of the career facilitation coordinators here with CCA, and really appreciate you taking the time to check this out and learn a little bit about this program. To tell us about the program with PITT OHIO is Morgan Wienskovich. So she is a recruitment specialist, and she's going to go through in detail about the program, and then we're going to do questions and answers at the end, and hopefully, pique some interest about starting a career in the transportation industry. So, Morgan, take it away.
Thanks, Jake. So, as Jake had said, my name is Morgan Wienskovich. I'm the recruitment specialist with PITT OHIO, and I'm here today to talk to you about our professional driver apprentice program. So before we get started, I did want to give you a brief overview of what I hope for you to achieve and learn today from my presentation, and some transportation definitions that you'll hear throughout my presentation. So today, I hope to explain to you a little bit more about the driver shortage, career options with PITT OHIO, some industry education about the transportation industry, and some of our driver job availabilities in your area. So throughout my presentation, you might hear me talk about supply chain and ground. Supply chain is something that is throughout all of the transportation industry, but what it does is it helps solve our customers' logistical problems when moving freight or shipments. And then ground is a part of our supply chain services. You might also hear me talk about less than truckload, or LTL. LTL is a service where we pick up freight from individual customer locations that fills up less than a full truckload or trailer. You might hear me talk about truckload, or TL for short, and that means that the driver goes to a location to fill an entire trailer of freight. And then lastly, you're going to hear me talk a lot about a CDL driver's license. And a CDL license is what gives you the opportunity to drive larger vehicles that weigh over 10,000 pounds. This is a special license that you would have to obtain outside of just a normal standard state driver's license. So to get into it, who is PITT OHIO? PITT OHIO was founded in 1979 and has since grown to be an $800 million revenue-based, family-owned transportation company headquartered in Pittsburgh, PA. We currently have 21 terminals across 9 different states with roughly 3,500 employees. We have terminals located in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, West Virginia, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. On top of our transportation services for our clients, we do also offer multiple logistics services to assist our customers, like supply chain and ground. On top of all of that, one thing that PITT OHIO really prides himself on is that we have been awarded a top workplace in multiple locations over our years of service. Just in the past full year of 2019, we were recognized as a top workplace in Indianapolis, Indiana, Cincinnati and Cleveland, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and multiple other locations. So to get started, I did want to play a quick clip for you on PITT OHIO as an enterprise and the services that we provide.
Customer-driven, people-driven, quality-driven. All of these characteristics have made PITT OHIO a leader in offering fast, reliable, and dependable transportation solutions for over 30 years.
PITT OHIO was founded in 1979 as a regional LTL trucking company offering a next-day service between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. And we've evolved tremendously over the last 30-plus years. Today, we're a transportation solutions company focusing on 4 key areas of service. We offer supply chain services, we offer ground services, LTL services, and truckload services.
We are customer-driven. We listen and collaborate with our customers to develop business solutions based on customers' feedback.
So we've had a strategy to differentiate ourselves from our competitors by focusing on the needs of our customers, first of all. We're not the largest transportation solutions provider in the globe. What we want to be is to be the most effective one for our customers. The other thing that we've really focused on is trying to offer services that other carriers resist doing. But we're willing to develop a unique solution for each of those customers that have these problem type shipments out there and work with them to develop a solution so they can succeed in the marketplace and help their customers.
At PITT OHIO, we hold true to our word. We do what we say we're going to do and deliver what we promise to deliver. We truly believe the success of our organization can be attributed to our employees' dedication, pride, and outstanding work ethic. The commitment and loyalty of our employees facilitates the success of our organization.
At PITT OHIO, our employees are truly our most important resource in the company. Their productivity and their passion for their work are second to none.
At PITT OHIO, we work really hard to create the right work environment for our employees. And we feel that if we create the right work environment, we'll be able to deliver excellent customer service. It's really a commitment to meeting and exceeding the needs of our customers and their expectations. And it's really built upon the abilities of our employees to offer exceptional customer service.
Developing the best in-house practices in regards to technology, safety, security, and sustainability showcases our commitment to our employees, our customers, and the community.
PITT OHIO is extremely innovative from a technology perspective and technology that adds value to our customers. We were one of the first organizations to offer real-time tracking and tracing when a shipment gets picked up and when it gets delivered. We enabled that by putting onboard computers on every one of our trucks.
PITT OHIO has built a competency in the area of safety. We've been recognized by the American Trucking Association 5 times in the past 20 years for operating the safest fleet in America. Today, more than 20% of our shipments on a daily basis are hazardous materials, and we've developed a tremendous expertise conforming to government regulations and our shippers' expectations as well.
PITT OHIO is continually recognized throughout the industry and by our customers for our outstanding service, innovative approaches to business, safety, technology, and for our commitment to overall excellence. This is accomplished by assembling the best, most qualified team of courteous drivers, reliable dock workers, proficient mechanics, and professional office staff who take pride in their job and strive to deliver top-notch service on a daily basis. PITT OHIO, we're always there for you.
All right. Well, I hope that gave you a much better understanding of who PITT OHIO is as an enterprise and the services that we can provide to our customers. So as I had stated early on in my presentation, PITT OHIO has 21 terminals in 9 different states. So a big question is, where do you see yourself after high school? I'm sure some of you may choose to go to college. A few of you may choose to enlist in the military. And then there may be others that are looking to go into the trades, or you may just not be sure of your career path at this point in time. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my career path and how I got started off in the transportation industry. So I chose to go the 4-year college route. I attended Penn State University and obtained my bachelor's degree in English literature. Now for me, I was set on going to college, but I still didn't really know what I wanted to do after I graduated, which could have been a pretty big problem. Once I graduated, I started off in the sales industry, and then eventually I moved into human resources, which is how I found myself working for PITT OHIO in the transportation industry specifically as their recruitment specialist and manager of the professional driver apprentice program. So again, why I asked this question is because I'm here today to educate you on why PITT OHIO and specifically the driver apprentice program might be a good alternative for you and a great option as a career choice moving forward. So what is the PITT OHIO driver apprentice program? PITT OHIO started our professional driver apprentice program in 2018 so that we could help educate middle school and high school students about the possibility of a career in the transportation industry. We are targeting motivated individuals who are looking to take a different career path into the trades industry. So before we get started talking about the job and the skills that we're looking for, I wanted to paint a picture for you on what it would look like throughout your progression with PITT OHIO as a driver apprentice. In year one, we start off paying all of our new hires $17 an hour. What you can expect in your first year is a very comprehensive dock training. So all of our driver apprentices start off working on our dock. Moving into year two, you would then make $18 an hour. You would continue your dock training, but also be introduced into your first driving training position. Year three would be all driver training. So you would still be working in the capacity as a driver, but in a non-CDL vehicle. At that point, you would move into what we call our CDL driver apprentice program. And PITT OHIO would give you the on-the-job training to obtain your Class B CDL and then eventually your Class A CDL, where you would be making $22 an hour plus for the rest of your career. So some of the things that PITT OHIO are looking for when it comes to job requirements are outlined for you here on this slide. I wanted to go in depth with you about this before talking to you about the career progression in the non-CDL driver apprentice program. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is to be an apprentice with PITT OHIO, you have to be minimally 18 years of age. Now there's a reason for that. Because PITT OHIO is in the transportation industry, we are monitored by the Department of Transportation, or DOT. The DOT requires you to be 18 years of age to handle freight that is labeled hazardous material. If you remember from the short video clip that I showed earlier in the presentation, PITT OHIO transports about 20% of our freight to be hazardous material, which again is the reason behind having to be 18 years of age. On top of that, we do run a motor vehicle report on all of our employees. Some things that we do check on the MVR is that we're looking for individuals that do not have more than 3 moving violations within the past 36 months. This would include a license suspension, DUI, or reckless driving charge. And then lastly, we will do a post-employment background check on you, send you for a Department of Transportation physical and drug screen. So at PITT OHIO, we strive to offer the best customer service possible to all of our clients. We are looking to hire someone into the driver apprentice program that has wonderful customer service. That's something that is really, really important to us. So why is customer service important to the transportation industry? It's because PITT OHIO has a commitment to offering world-class customer service. We not only expect our employees to have great customer service skills, we also expect them to maintain a safety-conscious mentality on a daily basis. So I'm sure a lot of you in the room today hold down a part-time job. One thing that you may not realize is that in that part-time job, although it may not be what you want to do for the rest of your life, you're learning a very valuable skill that transpires into a career with PITT OHIO, and that's customer service. So I did want to let you know that I am going to go into more detail about each step in the apprentice progression, but wanted to give you a quick overview of how our program works. So all of our apprentices start off on the dock. You would then move into what we call a sprinter or cargo van. The next step is a non-CDL straight truck. And then eventually we would hope that you would move on to obtain your Class B CDL license, and then eventually your Class A CDL license to drive one of our 53-foot tractor trailers. So the first step in our driver apprentice program is for you to be a dock worker. We like all of our apprentices to start off in this position because we full-heartedly believe that it helps you learn more about the operations. It gives you a firsthand look of the hard work that it takes to get our drivers just out of the terminal and out onto the road to make their deliveries for the day. Again, this position, you would start off first and you would minimally need to be 18 years of age. The next step in our driver apprentice program would be for you to actually get into a small non-CDL vehicle, which is called a sprinter van. This is where you would learn the fundamentals of driving and being able to manage your own route and your schedule for the day with the help of our terminal managers and dispatchers. After you've learned the basics of driving, we would eventually move you on to a non-CDL straight truck. The minimum age requirement for this position would be for you to be 21 years of age. In this type of truck, you would be responsible for delivering larger freight and larger amounts of freight on a daily basis. After the non-CDL straight truck, we would hope at this point that you would have the on-the-job skills and training needed to go and obtain a Class B CDL straight truck license. And then the final step in our program would be for you to obtain a Class A license, which would allow you to drive one of our 53-foot tractor trailers. The minimum age for this position is a PITT OHIO requirement to be 23 years of age. Additionally, we would help with the on-the-job training and the hours needed to test to get this license. So I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, what happens once I graduate from the CDL or non-CDL driver apprentice program? Does that mean I'm a driver for the rest of my life, or is there other places that I could go with PITT OHIO? Well, the answer to that is simple. At this point, you have obtained the skills to move into multiple different positions outside of being a driver. You could become a dispatcher. A dispatcher is the individual that's back at the terminal that helps plan your route every day on all of the delivery stops that you're going to make. You've obtained the knowledge to be in our safety department and be one of the people that's backing all of our safety initiatives to keep us a company in the transportation industry that is so highly acclaimed for our safety awards. You could become a trainer to help train new CDL or non-CDL driver apprentices. You could become a supervisor, or eventually you could even work your way up to be the terminal manager that oversees all operations at that specific terminal. So I wanted to tell you some of the program perks that we've heard feedback from our current driver apprentices that I think really stand out. They talk about the driver apprentice program being an attractive career with advancement opportunities. It's a steady, consistent, on-time weekly paycheck. It's a proven career development training program. PITT OHIO offers new equipment with the best safety technology, and we always promote a safe working environment. Along with all of that, when you're in our driver apprentice program, we partner you with a mentor to help guide you through the process the whole time. And then lastly, PITT OHIO is known for having the best healthcare benefits in the industry. So let's talk about safety. I'm sure you've heard me mention it a couple times now throughout this presentation, and I wanted to go more in depth on that so that you have an understanding of why it's so important to us. Now that we've talked about the driver apprentice program, again, I wanted to talk to you about how our business is centered around safety for our employees, customers, and community members. So safety is our culture. Safety always has and always will be our number one priority. Our employees go through extensive and continuous safety training throughout their employment with PITT OHIO. And again, PITT OHIO is well known for our focus on safety culture within the whole transportation industry. PITT OHIO is an award-winning trucking company. We hold 80-plus safety-specific awards in the transportation industry. If you do a little math, that averages out to be over two safety awards per year of operation, and PITT OHIO has been in service for 40 years. Just in 2019 alone, we received 10 safety awards for that operating year. So safety and technology, how do those two, go together? So technology helps the world go round, as we all know, no matter what industry you work in. So what role does it play in the transportation industry specifically, and more specifically with PITT OHIO? PITT OHIO uses a system called the Bendix Wingman Fusion, which is a collision avoidance system. Why is this important, you may ask? Well, to me, as a driver on the road, day in and day out, I want to know that when I'm passing one of the big 53-foot trailers and it's raining or there's bad weather, that their trucks are well equipped to help prevent an accident. So the Bendix Wingman Fusion System, it combines 3 forms of next generation technology using camera, radar, and brakes. The 4 key features of this system is its lane departure warning, overspeed alert in action, its following distance alert with enhanced collision mitigation, and its stationary vehicle braking.
It's technology that's as evolutionary as it is revolutionary. Bendix Wingman Fusion, the industry's first integrated driver assistance system, combines proven collision mitigation capabilities and advanced driver assistance features to create a system that helps improve roadway safety today and builds a strong foundation for tomorrow. Wingman Fusion technology remains on the leading edge of safety and driver assistance with the integration of camera, radar, and full stability braking for a higher level of performance. And it does so with fewer false alerts and interventions than many radar-only systems. The essence of Fusion is simple. It provides multiple sources of information, which means more opportunities for cross-checking and earlier decision-making on the road. Additional information allows our driver assistance system to determine the situation sooner and react more robustly to help drivers avoid a crash or lessen its severity. Wingman Fusion's advanced algorithms work for you to deliver proven features such as adaptive cruise control, which helps the driver maintain a following distance when cruise control is engaged, also providing alerts and braking if a collision is imminent. Speed sign recognition, which alerts the driver when speed limit is exceeded. Following distance alerts, which alert the driver when a vehicle in front of the truck slows down and the gap between that vehicle and the truck closes. Plus the impact alert, followed by collision mitigation braking, helps the driver mitigate a rear-end collision. Lane departure warning, providing an alert when it detects if the truck drifts out of the lane. And with Wingman Fusion, you get even more, including collision mitigation braking, which provides more braking power and a higher level of speed reduction. If a truck is driving on the highway and Fusion detects a stationary vehicle in the same lane, audible and visual alerts immediately warn the driver. Then, if necessary, Wingman Fusion's enhanced collision mitigation braking can help mitigate a potential crash. If the driver decides to steer to avoid the crash, the Bendix ESP Full Stability System, the foundation upon which Fusion is built, will activate, if necessary, to help mitigate a potential rollover or loss of control situation. Fusion is also integrated with Safety Direct by Bendix, the robust wireless way to deliver actionable information back to the office. Bendix Wingman Fusion collision mitigation technology may help address situations such as rear-end collisions, limited sight driving in poor weather, aggressive, inattentive, or drowsy drivers, sideswipe crashes caused by lane departures, rollovers, and loss of control situations. Already have the Wingman Fusion system on your fleet? Then your trucks may be upgraded to the newest Fusion features. Talk to a Bendix representative for more details. Fusion combines the most advanced technologies in the Bendix Safety Suite to deliver a system that does more and does it better for your fleet. Find out what the latest evolution of Bendix Wingman Fusion can do for you.
I hope that video helped give you guys some more information and a better understanding of the technology that we have in all of our trucks, because PITT OHIO is very proud of its commitment to integrating all of the newest technology into our daily work lives, from our corporate office to our terminals and our fleet. So another piece of technology that we have integrated into all of our vehicles is something called PeopleNet. PeopleNet is a connected tablet that is hooked up to our vehicles that allows our drivers to do everything electronic. This has replaced all of our paper documents so that we can stay with the times and the latest technology. PeopleNet allows our drivers to connect with our dispatch system. It provides them with electronic logs or manifests, which are essentially the deliveries that they need to make for the day. It helps them to clock in and out for break. It allows them to communicate with the terminals about delivered packages. And ultimately, it helps with our route planning and our invoices. So to kind of wrap up our presentation, I wanted to give you some live feedback about our program that, again, we've received from current driver apprentices, as well as apprentices that have graduated from the program. They say that it's a great working environment here at PITT OHIO. They love that we provide them with paid training and an unlimited advancement within the company. A big term that we've heard nowadays because of COVID-19 is essential workers. Something about PITT OHIO is that because we're in the transportation industry, our employees, and more specifically our apprentices, can say that they have consistent work from being an essential employee. They love that they have a steady income with no degree. And lastly, they love the healthcare benefits here with PITT OHIO. I wanted to wrap up with some ways to get a hold of PITT OHIO and me specifically. PITT OHIO is very active on social media, being on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as our company website. And my personal contact information is listed here below if you have any further questions that I wasn't able to answer today in our presentation. I wanted to thank everyone for their time today and for listening to our presentation to learn more about the Professional Driver Apprentice Program with PITT OHIO, and wanted to open up the floor to any questions that you may have at this time, or again, please feel free to reach out to me or PITT OHIO directly with any other questions. Thanks, everyone.
Morgan, I have a couple questions. So very informative presentation. I think the program really sets the participants up well for, upward mobility and a nice upward projection for their career. $17 an hour to start. That comes out to about $35,000 a year. So that's a fairly good, decent living wage for somebody who's just coming out of high school. And then in 4 years, it goes up almost $11,000. So that's pretty impressive. As far as the program is and how it's constructed, are there a certain number of slots that are limited per year? Like, do you have classes of drivers that come in and sort of rotate through, or do you have new people that enter the program all at all stages of the year?
That's a really good question. So when we started the driver apprentice program in 2018, it was more of like a class base where we were trying to hire a bunch of people. But now that we're, almost 3 years into our program, we typically have positions open multiple times throughout the year. So it really depends on the location and what they're looking for. But it's usually like 1 or 2 hires every couple weeks, couple months, things like that. And then we just add on as we go.
Do you find that maybe now more than a couple years ago, or is it easier to find people willing to kind of come into the program, or are you always sort of in search of people that you want to bring in?
Yeah, so I think it definitely is a little easier now because of the fact that we're really promoting it. That's what I was here to do today, is to educate people about the driver apprentice program, and more specifically the true career possibilities that they have being in the transportation industry. So I would have to say early on, it may have been a little harder because people weren't aware. But now that we're out here promoting our program and we have the driver apprentices already in the program, word of mouth is so wonderful that we typically, a lot of people know about our program now.
So is this something that, if we have students that are interested and they graduate, I mean, how quick does it turn around where they're able to sort of, they would be permitted to participate in this program?
Yeah. So, I think even like early intervention, so say that you have students that are interested that haven't graduated yet, you feel free to reach out to me with their information, and we can start talking to them about once they graduate or once they turn 18, how we can get them into that program right away so that there's no delay between graduation and actually starting their career.
And then do you mind, could you just review the requirements for entry into the program? So I know it was 18 or older. You have to have a fairly clean driving record, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct,
What were some of the other requirements?
So with the driving record, they can't have any more than 3 moving violations on their MVR at the time of hire. That's when we would run their MVR. One thing to keep in mind is a lot of people don't realize that like speeding tickets show up on there, traffic tickets, even minor infractions will show up on your MVR. So, the better driver you are, even before entering into this, the better. Some of the other requirements is that we do a criminal background check on all of our employees. And we also will send them for what's called a DOT or Department of Transportation physical to make sure that they're physically fit and able to do the job, as well as a DOT drug screen, because we are a drug-free facility.
Okay. So I think I wanted to clarify or at least reiterate the requirements of the program so that for students, listening to this, they're, 16, 17 years old, they just freshly got their license, their foot might be a little heavy like mine was at that age.
Right.
Be mindful of your speed, mindful of the traffic laws and limit those violations as much as you possibly can, because it can affect your availability to participate in a program like this.
Absolutely.
Or even something similar. So just keep that in mind with the new drivers on the road. Just be careful and be mindful of how, some of these things could potentially have consequences down the road.
Right. I mean, we were all there at one point, brand new driver at 16, want to show off to your friends a little bit. But, just as you said, Jake, if you want to have a really great career with PITT Ohio, just be a little mindful and maybe lay off the gas a little.
Yeah, I definitely had a heavy foot when I was first starting to drive. So I have gotten better at that, to be honest with you. Full transparency for students. Want to be completely honest.
Yeah, just want to be upfront with you guys.
So you said that the company's been around since 1979. With the employees that you have on staff now, do you typically find that those employees are with PITT Ohio for a long time, or do you have a lot of coming and going? Is there a lot of turnover with some of these positions?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So from my experience, I can tell you, working in the HR department, my direct supervisor has been with PITT Ohio for over 14 years. I have colleagues in my department that have been with PITT Ohio for over a decade. All companies have turnover in certain positions. I would say that maybe our highest turnover would be an individual that elected to not be in the driver apprentice program and maybe thought, I just want to be a dock worker. That's all I want to do. I think that employees tend to leave when they feel stagnant in a role or that they don't have upward movement. So I would say probably just our standard dock workers are ones that might leave because they don't feel like they can go anywhere else. But in terms of our driver apprentice program, I think people are very happy, especially with the upward movement, the pay advancements, and just the overall career growth.
So the last question that I have is just from a projection standpoint, with the development of self-driving cars and that technology starting to take hold and really get further developed. How does PITT Ohio, how do they view how that sort of technology may impact some of these positions moving forward?
Yeah, that's an awesome question and one that doesn't get brought up a lot. But one thing that I can tell you is that PITT Ohio is so forward thinking. One thing that is really cool that they were testing out recently is one of our sister companies was testing out a fully 100% electronic Sprinter van. So the first step in our program outside of a dock worker. I think PITT Ohio, something that I love about them, again, is that they're forward thinking. They don't let anything like that scare them or deter them. They just kind of open it or, welcome it with open arms. And I think that's really cool. I think, they'll figure out a way to make it safe and to still be in operations no matter, who's driving the vehicle.
Okay. Ian, do you have any questions?
I actually do. Thank you. Great presentation. I mean, I just learned so much about even just the safety features on the vans. That was awesome to hear about. One of my thoughts was you mentioned customer service, very important for even a driver. Yeah. What sort of other skills would you encourage students to learn, develop, or foster now before they graduate in anticipation that they might want to go and join PITT Ohio?
Sure. So I think the thing with that is just really soft skills are really important. Mm-hmm. So we look for individuals that just have a hardworking mentality. Being an essential worker is not a light thing to carry around. It's very important, especially in the times that we're in right now. We are one of the companies, I'm sure out of many, but we're the ones that are really keeping the world going. And having those soft skills like being a hard worker, showing up to work on time, having a positive attitude, being adaptable to change. Our drivers, may start their day with one route that they have in mind, but they may get a call from the dispatcher or, get a message through PeopleNet that customer can't accept their package at their scheduled time anymore. So, being adaptable is really key in this position. And just overall, again, being a hard worker, showing up on time, and be willing to put in the work to keep everything moving.
Thank you, Morgan. Morgan, I have a quick question. I'm not sure if it was discussed earlier. I remember when we met initially, you mentioned that PITT Ohio drivers, you try to get them home by the end of their day.
Yeah.
If you could talk a little bit about that, because I know a lot of people are under the impression that, drivers might be away from home 2 or 3 days a week or even weeks. So if you could talk about that, because it's really, really important that they know that, you work for the company, you'll be home just like anybody else, 5, 6 o'clock, whatever that hour might be. Thank you.
For sure. Yeah, no, Andy, that's a great question to bring up. So that's something with PITT Ohio. No matter what driving position you're in, we really pride ourselves on having our drivers home daily. That's a term that you'll hear almost every day with PITT Ohio, is that our drivers, no matter what time of day they're working, they will make it home to sleep in their own bed. Now, don't get me wrong, we have plenty of drivers that are daylight hours. But we do have drivers like our Class A drivers that we call line haul drivers, and they're the ones that drive overnight. So they may start anywhere between 7 and 10 p.m. and they make their deliveries or their pickups overnight. But even though their working hours are in the evening when most of us are sleeping, they're still going to be home at their home terminal at the end of their shift and able to drive back to their house and sleep in their beds. I know a big stigma that we're fighting against is that if you're a Class A driver, you're gone for days on end. You sleep in the back of your truck. You don't get to eat a home-cooked meal every day. Working for PITT Ohio, that's not how it's going to be. And again, that's something that we really pride ourselves on for all of our employees.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was wondering too, what keeps you at PITT Ohio? I mean, there's a lot of obviously, good things about the company, but what specifically keeps you coming to work every day?
Yeah, so I love PITT Ohio. I hope that everybody, no matter where they work, feel the way that I do about their current employer. It's really the family environment. So although I mentioned we have about 3,500 employees, I can tell you every day that I walk into the office, people know who I am. They know my name. The owner of our company you see him on a daily, weekly basis walking around the corporate office. He says hello to you. Our our C-level individuals are always willing to help in any way that they can. And again, it's just the family feel. I go into work and I'm happy to be there. I'm supported. It's like that no matter if you work at the corporate office or the terminal, there's always someone that you can turn to that can point you in the right direction or give you a helping hand.
Awesome.
Yeah. I
was wondering too, if, let's say somebody starts in the apprentice program, they kind of like it, but then at some point they kind of go, you know what, I don't think driving is right for me. Are there there's other positions obviously, but is there an opportunity for that person to then drop out of the apprentice program and kind of go a different direction within PITT OHIO, or is that kind of like a set in stone?
Yeah. No, one thing about PITT OHIO is our adaptability again. If we always preach being upfront and honest, so if our employees can do the same for us and talk to us about maybe some of the struggles that they're facing or that they've had a shift in mindset on what they're looking to do with their career, we want to do everything in our power to keep them with PITT OHIO and to help them out on that career progression, as long as there's availability at their terminal or for relocation or different things like that. So be upfront and honest with your direct manager, and we'll do whatever we can.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Morgan, where can students and families go to find maybe more information about the program or just more information about PITT OHIO in general?
Sure. So you can find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We house our own website, so our marketing team really keeps up with that as well, with up-to-date information on the company and our programs. And then lastly, I'd be more than happy to provide all of my contact information, that if there's students, family, anybody that's looking for maybe a more personalized touch or conversation, I'd be happy to schedule some time to meet with them on that.
Thanks. I appreciate you coming in and sharing this information with our students. I think not every one of our students is college bound, and so looking to try to find careers and career paths that don't necessarily have that that pathway through college. This is a great program that it sounds like a great company that you can really make a career at. And it's not necessarily, just kind of an entry level thing and then move on. It's you're there and you're there, working through a program that projects you forward. And it's really great to see that. So I appreciate you sharing the information. Thanks for taking the time. And we look forward to maybe some more, maybe some in-person stuff in the future once all this craziness is over with. So I appreciate you doing that. Appreciate you taking the time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me. And again, any other questions, please feel free to reach out.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.